Hello, Colchester. My name is Nic Longo, and I'm honored to sit before you today as a candidate for re-election to the Colchester School Board. Colchester isn't just where I live. It's where I have chosen to dedicate my time, my energy, and my heart. My amazing wife, Sarah, our wonderful children, ages 6, 11, and 12, and I are deeply connected to this community, and I am passionate about making sure our schools continue to thrive. For more than a decade, I have volunteered as many hours as possible to make Colchester a stronger, more vibrant place for everyone. I've served on the Colchester Little League, I've been on the board, coached baseball, t-ball age through middle school for over 8 years, and I've coordinated the Colchester T-Ball League. Before joining the school board, I served for 5 years on the Colchester Planning Commission appointed by the Colchester Select Board, working to shape the future of this town. During that time, I helped write and support the Colchester Development Regulations. I helped write and support the 2019 Colchester Town Plan and contributed to the Mallets Bay Initiative Wastewater Solutions Report, all of which were critical in planning for responsible growth and sustainability in our community. These experiences reinforced my belief in strategic planning, community collaboration, and long-term vision, all of which I bring to my work on the Colchester School Board today. In my professional career, I have worked for over 20 years in the aviation business management field, everything from airline and private aircraft operations to federal air traffic control. For the past 13 years, I've been at the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport, currently serving as the airport director, where I am responsible for an amazing team, as well as strategic planning, financial oversight, and management of large-scale projects that impact hundreds of thousands of people in our region. These skills, budget management, long-term planning, and working within regulatory and policy frameworks are directly relevant to serving on the school board. Ensuring our school district is financially responsible, well-planned, and forward-thinking is critical to providing the best education for our students. For the past 5 years, I have had the privilege of serving on your Colchester School Board. During this time, I have worked alongside my fellow board members, Superintendent Amy Miner and her amazing team, and our community to strengthen our schools. My focus has been on a few items. First, carefully monitoring and challenging the budget to ensure we invest in education and our facilities while continuously being fiscally responsible. A well-balanced budget allows us to allocate resources effectively, ensuring that every dollar spent directly benefits our students and educational staff. It is crucial to maintain transparency and accountability in financial decisions, as this builds not only trust within the community and ensures that taxpayer money is being used wisely. By prioritizing financial stability, we can provide a high-quality education, maintain and improve our school facilities, and support innovative programs that enhance the learning experience for all students. Second, collaborating with the superintendent and the board to set strategic priorities while also promoting and discussing policies that support students, staff, and families. One big element of our planning efforts has been to right-size and renovate all of our schools. And I'm pleased to continue working with the administrative staff within this bond that recently passed. It will be a very busy couple of years ahead of us, and I can't wait to see the faces of staff and students as they enter their new schools. And finally, keeping a close eye on legislative changes in Vermont that have impact on our schools and our town. This will be critical in the next 3 years, working with our Colchester legislators and even state representatives beyond our town. There have been many changes over the last few years and many more proposed plans ahead. And I'm committed to staying on track to support Colchester throughout these discussions. Teachers are the backbone of our schools. They inspire, motivate, and challenge our students to think critically and grow into the best versions of themselves. Great teachers spark curiosity, build confidence, and create lifelong learning. Their impact goes far beyond the classroom, shaping the future of our children and our community. But a strong school district is more than just our teachers. Our paraeducators, substitute teachers, custodial staff, maintenance staff, kitchen staff, bus drivers, support personnel, and administrative teams all play a vital role in creating an environment where students can succeed. The ecosystem of education includes every person, most of the time doing more than one job, every person who steps into our schools to make that difference. I believe in recognizing, supporting, and advocating for every one of them, because when our staff is valued and empowered, our students thrive. That's why over the past 5 years, I have been actively involved in all contract negotiations as a school board member. My goal has been to ensure that we create contracts that are both fair to our dedicated educators and staff while remaining fiscally responsible for our community. Balancing these priorities is essential in maintaining a strong, sustainable school district that attracts and retains top talent while respecting our Colchester residents and taxpayers. At the heart of every decision I make, whether it's budget discussions, policy changes, or strategic planning, must be the students. The goal of our school system is to provide the best possible education, and I am committed to ensuring that all students in our district receive the opportunities, the resources, and the support they need to thrive. I love this district. I love Colchester, and I believe in the power of strong schools to shape our community's future. And I am committed to continuing this hard work needed to support the students, the staff, the families, and you, our residents and taxpayers. I ask for your vote in just a few weeks so that I can continue advocating for the success of every child in Colchester. So please vote yes to the Colchester School District and vote for me, Nic Longo. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David Tomasi, and I'm a candidate for the Colchester School Board. Just a little bit about myself. My background is in neuroscience, psychology, and medicine, and I was an elementary and middle school teacher. I'm currently faculty here at the Community College of Vermont, and I'm the secretary of the Vermont Academy of Arts and Sciences. As you can tell by my accent, I wasn't born here. I had the privilege to work for university and colleges both here and abroad, and I come from a family of immigrants and refugees. My wife's family also comes from Bosnia, and this also gave me the chance over the years to work for multiple boards and commissions for ethnic and religious minorities. I was a firefighter for 15 years, and I also had a wonderful opportunity to work for the ethics committee at the University of Vermont Medical Center, where I also worked as a psychotherapist in the inpatient psychiatry unit, and I taught for many years in multiple departments at UVM, mostly in the fields of neuroscience, psychology, and medicine. And the main reason why I am applying to this new path, the reason why I'm running, is because I want to bring people together. In fact, I hope to have an open conversation with all the members of the board, and even more importantly, with the community. I also hope to continue the wonderful work that my opponent, Nic Longo, has been done over the years, and whether he is elected or I will be elected, I hope to have the chance not to fight against one another, but simply to have a nurturing conversation. Also, I hope to bring my expertise and knowledge to the board to solve some problems. And I think as a father, I would like to have someone who has expertise in education and psychology, especially to deal with those problems. The first problem, it's money. And this is something that I heard many times in my conversation with the community. It is not fair that families that struggle to make ends meet have to pay even more taxes for the school. It's not fair because there is not always a correspondent quality increase in the education. Now, the proposed increase in taxes is less than 3%, so it's about 2.95%. And this is something that it's not necessarily unexpected, but I am very concerned about the overall quality of the education that our children receive. Yes, Colchester over the years has been a good place for education, and the new budget for Colchester wants to reflect that. The 64 number, it's what we are dealing with. And of course, every time we're making cuts, there's always an issue of what we're going to cut. And I can tell you that from a professional perspective, every time we need to cut things such as music, art, overall education, philosophy, then this is really not a good investment. We have to understand that our children are our investment. And when we think about numbers, we also have to think about the fact that students' enrollment in the future, it's projected to grow very much in the community, about almost 3,000 by 2034. And this is a number that will have to make us think. And if you want to have a term of comparison, last year it was 2,202. And this is reflected in the CSD spending per pupil, which was about $12,000, close to $13,000. And this will increase up to $14,000 starting this year, which from a comparative perspective, still lower than the state and county average, which is about $13,292, but it's still, in my view, unjustified. And this is also something to do with fairness overall. Now, it is not fair that to get good education, a family has to enroll in a private school system. It is not fair to the family that is working hard. It's not fair to the students that will have to be distancing themselves from the rest of the community. And it's also a problem that has to do at a state level with the common level appraisal in Vermont. So while spending is necessary, I also want to say that we want to make sure that students receive what they pay for. And this is bringing us to the other problem, which is the problem of education and content. The problem of education and content is something that I had the chance to also discuss with the community, and it's a problem that has to do with expectations. Now, something that I'm very passionate about is good education, and I heard the term education, not indoctrination. So I wanted to discuss something that I witnessed over the year, digital theft, or AI, artificial intelligence, which is neither intelligent nor truly artificial per se. And this is something I also noticed in some of the articles that I had the chance to read in preparation for today's discussion. There was an article that recently appeared where I feel that the way artificial intelligence is utilized in our school system is progressively making our children less prone to study. And of course, this is hard on the parents because I feel that not having any homework whatsoever is really a bad idea. And whether, we have this discussion on the board education versus the Vermont Agency of Education, we should really start from our students. And this will save us both money, but also will increase the quality of our education. Now, from the family perspective, it's really difficult to be able to sustain homework at home, especially if you work all day and then your children come home and have even more work to do. One should expect that the school will provide enough time to study basic things such as English, mathematics, arts. But the problem is that if there are new proposals that will remove our agency and the state might have to take over the district. Now keep in mind that if we have this new proposal where we'll have only 5 main blocks, each district will have roughly between 10,000 and 15,000 students. But here in the Champlain Valley District, we'll have close to 35,000, a little short of 35,000, about 34,000. So we cannot simply apply something to everybody else and expect the same results. So one might ask, what's your solution? How are we going to find money if the spending is too much for family to afford? Well, this brings us to problem number 2. I said multiple times, we don't have to invest too much on things that are not as relevant. We don't have to invest on the latest technology. In fact, I want to mention this. I mentioned this in the previous article, but unfortunately did not make the publication. I do have the privilege to have a doctorate and have studied for many, many years, but I can tell you that my grandmother, with no formal education, born on a farm, most likely will be better equipped in mathematics and English in comparison to a lot of recent graduates. And that's just not fair. It is just not fair that students' quality of education is becoming so low. Now, as I said earlier, Colchester is in good shape in comparison to the rest of the state, and I would say even in comparison to the national average. But if you have such a low bar, then it doesn't really take much to be better than the average. Now, if the major content areas where the study indicates that Colchester students are performing above the statewide average, and those areas, of course, are English, arts, math, and science, then this still does not compete, I would say, with the rest of the Americas and definitely not with the rest of the world. So instead of studying things that are not applicable, then we should go back to the basics so that the students that graduate from our school system now will have at the very least the ability to live and work on a farm if they so choose or pursue an academic career. This also brings the problem of bullyism and microaggression. Now, I heard this term, fairness, diversity, and inclusion, but I would suggest that we should make not just the school more inclusive, but more exclusive in an academic sense. After all, if you had a degree, would you want your degree to become from an exclusive institution rather than an only inclusive one? And that has to do with merit, of course. And this is a problem where the school, I don't think, is doing a great job. And one of the areas, unfortunately, is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We all want those values. We want diversity, equity, inclusion. But the way it's being taught so far, in my view, has not been done a good job, or at least not good enough. And this is something that I experienced also with my children, where there are certain types of microaggressions that seem to be over-exaggerated. And as a result of that, true racism is not addressed at all. Like you can have some aggression that are more justified and some aggression really not as important. My wife, as I mentioned before, came from Bosnia, and I heard this multiple times. Well, after all, she's not of the proper category, not of the proper gender, not of the proper race. So their suffering, it's not really that important. You're not that underprivileged. Well, it's interesting because that is the same type of discussion that has been happening since the 90s. And you think about, the Uyghurs in China, the Tutsi genocide in Rwanda, killed by the Hutu, and the genocide in Myanmar, for instance. So the purpose of making changes is to embrace science and love, not ideology. So I hope to bring some new and fresh perspectives as a new board member. And I will say this, that my professional background will possibly inform my scientific approach to education, bringing back science, but also my background as an immigrant, and in general, my family as a refugee, will make me a good candidate to understand more inclusive, diverse perspectives to promote love and a much, much better education for our children. Thank you.